What up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing kind of an R&D session, and
can you scoot over a little bit?
Yeah.
That one is fine.
Like that? Is that good? Okay. Yo, what up, barflies? Before we jump into today's episode, we got to give a huge thanks to Cafe Casino for sponsoring this one. You guys are legends, you know you are. And get this, they've actually started dropping recipes on their blog right now, which I did not see coming. It's not just cocktails, there's a whole mix of stuff. It's got a drink that sounds fancy, but is super secretly easy to make, like impress your friends so easy. And yeah, if you're looking to kill some time with fun games or wanna level up your snack and sip game, head over to cafecasino.com and poke around. You might find your new obsession, you never know. This video stems from a conversation that Marius and I were having, because Marius over the years has been like, and maybe you guys can weigh in on the comments. But over the years, Marius has been like, we cater too much to people who like good cocktails. What if we expanded Barfly to do all sorts of different drinks, even club drinks from the 70s and 80s, and then like we could appeal to more people, right? Like different styles of people. And we had this long discussion about it, and I don't even know what we came to as a, did we come to a consensus? I don't know. Well, I guess the culmination of the conversation was that it culminated into this video, right? Where I decided that I would take some club cocktails and reconstruct them in a craft way. For those of you guys that don't know, many of you guys that have subscribed to this channel for a long time already know this about me, but I started my entire career in a nightclub in Hollywood called King. And it was just one of these bars. You just do this at people all night long, right? You just do this. It's 10 deep at the bar. It's super loud. And you're making Washington apples, Incredible Hulks, redheaded sluts. It's like those types of drinks, right? It's just literally mixing two things together as much as it would go into a glass with ice. And then you're not measuring anything. You're just throwing it at the crowd. And the crowd's just drunk and high and happy and whatever, and that's where a lot of these drinks come from. But what I noticed about a lot of these drinks, other than using just like cheap ingredients and a lot of stuff with high fructose corn syrup and like lemon sour, like sun-kissed lemon sour, stuff like that, other than that, the downfall of most of these cocktails is that they don't contain any simple syrup, usually at all, which is crazy. It's like, I don't know, Jägermeister and cranberry juice. That's the entire drink, right? And so obviously that's not gonna be very balanced. I don't think that Jägermeister and cranberry juice is very good either. There is a way.
Or like separately?
What?
Together or like separately?
No, I like Jägermeister. I mean, Jägermeister is fine. It's nice. It's got a little bit Fernetish, it's a little bit less mint forward than Fernet. It's got a little bit more different kind of botanicals in it. I'm one of those people that is of the opinion that Jägermeister is a like legitimate Amaro, where a lot of people like to talk smack on it. And I think the reason why, it's the same reason why people talk smack on Beefeater, and it's the same reason why people talk smack on Patron. Because even though the product itself is a high quality product, their marketing had put them into a like situation where they're like kind of in a nightclub and they're sort of trying to appeal to a more college set. For a long time, this was drinking culture, or this is what permeated drinking culture. There were, a very small group of people that were following Dale DeGroff in those years in the 1980s. But other than that, people were going to the nightclub. This is what they were drinking. Cocktail culture has changed and has gotten a little bit more refined. It's gotten a little bit more, the tastes have definitely upgraded a bit since then. And then as a result of that, what we have is a bunch of people that just talk down on a few of these brands because just in their minds, they still equate it to that, like those, like, I don't know, what some people like to call the dark ages, And I was one of those people for a long time. I think that when you first become a bartender, like, there's like 3 stages of bartending. Have I ever talked to you about my theory in bartending?
Well,
3 stages of bartending?
It's the Dunning-Kruger effect, right?
It kind of is the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's like the 3 stages of bartending is like, you finally get into a good bar and you just want to know everything. You're just like, I want to learn everything. This is so amazing. This is so whatever. This is right. And that's your first 3 years. Just, I want to learn, right? You just want to soak it all up. You get all the mentors, you work at all these different bars, you're doing all these cocktails. And then between years like 3 and 6, okay? So like the next 3 years or 4 years, or 3 and 6, 3 and 7, you've learned a lot, and then you think that you know everything. And this is where the Dunning-Kruger effect really like takes hold. And you become very arrogant and pompous, and you think you know everything, and you're turning your nose up at anything. And you are what I have always kind of rail against, which is you are a traditionalist in cocktails, where like you have to make it the traditional way, and I'm only using this particular brandy because they formulated it to be like the brandy of the 19th century. And then you do that for like 4 years, right? And that's the most annoying bartender ever. But I feel like it's a necessary, phase to get to the next like level where you have actually gained some expertise in bartending. And then you realize that everything that you thought you knew is up for debate, and that even though you know all of these things, a lot of the rules don't apply, but it's good that you learned them to begin with, because you got to learn the rules before you break the rules. But in this phase, right, from years like, 6 to 7 onward, you become a lot more open, and you also become a lot more willing to admit the things that you don't know. And so I feel like I'm in this last phase, so I can actually be like, maybe we should do some club drinks. And so today I thought, kind of bring this all back, this rant all the way back around to today's video. I thought, why don't we do some cocktails? Let's try to gussy them up in a craft style, but let's try to keep the original idea intact and see what we come up with. And I came up with the recipes, spent a week on the recipes, have not tried them at all. We're gonna be trying them for the first time together. And if they suck, I will tell you they suck. And then you guys can stop following me, because apparently I'm a hack. Or if they're genius, I will tell you they're genius. I will be 100% honest. All right, now the first drink that we're gonna be doing is called the Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk is a drink that I used to make a ton of when I was working in a nightclub. It is 50% cognac and 50% hypnotic. And hypnotic is a liqueur developed in the 1990s that is a little bit of cognac in vodka and exotic fruit juices from France. Wherever, I don't know what exotic fruits they have in France. Like, if they said exotic fruits from Bali, I would be a lot more like, oh, maybe there's an exotic fruit there, but I don't know what they have as far as exotic fruits from France, but that's what it is. Hypnotic is like a really interesting kind of product, because it was one of the very first product in the 1990s to be marketed to a very specific group of people. So it was this guy named Raphael Jacobi, who was a guy from Long Island, college dropout, that wanted to figure out a way how to market a liquor into hip hop clubs, basically. And so he made something that had like vodka, because that's what was, kind of prevalent at the time, and then also cognac, because Hennessy was really big in the hip hop scene. He put those together with exotic fruit juices, and he came up with this blue drink. But then the Incredible Hulk itself was created at a place called Justin's Restaurant in New York City. This is around 2003. It's created by a bartender named Victor Alvarez, who realized that like more women than men would drink hypnotic, and that men thought it was a bit effeminate, which I don't know how you could put that kind of a gendered bias onto a liqueur, but it's light blue, I guess, and I guess men didn't want to drink light blue drinks, and so he combined it with cognac, right? 50% cognac and 50% hypnotic to create the Incredible Hulk. When you mix the blue hypnotic with the cognac, it turns green, and so he called it the Incredible Hulk. And then also to appeal to men, and I guess they're penchant for feats of strength. I don't know.
Yes, and then
but just like, yeah.
And then they just smashed them.
And then they smash. This reconstruction that I've done, I actually don't know if it's going to turn green. Isn't there like a whole bunch of different colored
like
Hulks?
11 different Hulks.
There's 11, including like a gray one, and there's like a silver one, and there's blue. Obviously, there's red because it was in the last movie.
Red, yellow, orange, yeah.
Yeah, there's all sorts of Hulks. So whatever color this turns, I mean, this might just turn into a muddy brown mess. I don't know.
Blue and
but it might be
orange,
good.
Yeah, should be greenish. Yeah.
It should be greenish. Okay, so without further ado, the one thing I didn't actually bring here is because we're trying to use this like the raw materials of like kind of what hypnotic is made out of. So we've got our exotic fruit juices here. They're all fresh juices. I even juiced a pineapple specifically for this so we can use the fresh juice. Yeah, I think maybe this is what's gonna make the green color for us, right? Yeah, probably, most probably.
What is that yellow
It may turn green. That's this right here. That's pineapple juice, bro. That's just fresh pineapple juice, not the Trader Joe's variety.
That's
actually.
your exotic French
That's
juice.
my exotic French juice, is pineapple, yeah. Yeah, because pineapples are indigenous to France, duh.
I mean, I guess there are some French territories that have it.
There are French territories that have pineapple. Yeah, that's, yeah, you know. So a little tip of the hat to Conquest and our attempt at the Incredible Hulk. Let's go. Half an ounce of lime juice. We're gonna do like a short half ounce of simple syrup. Then we're gonna do half an ounce of blue Curacao. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna turn green, totally forgetting that pineapple juice is in my recipe and so therefore will turn green. 3/4 ounce of pineapple juice. Spill it everywhere. If you don't spill it everywhere or out of a jar, then you're doing it wrong. 3/4 ounce of vodka. Use any vodka you like. And then 3/4 ounce of Cognac. All right. Oh, turned less green than I thought it would. I'm gonna put it in this glass, I think. You know, although it's not chilled, I think it needs a smaller volume glass. Let's put some ice in our glass here. I just feel like, should we not give it like a, is it too pretentious to put like a garnish on here? You know what, I think I'm just gonna give it a slice of lime, you know? I'm just gonna give it a slice of lime. And maybe when I shake it, it'll get more green. Or maybe we invented a new Hulk color. It's turquoisey.
Turquoise Hulk?
Turquoise Hulk, yeah. It's like, that would be, what, the Hulk from New Mexico.
Yikes.
Kind of reminds me of the Caribbean, you know, just like blue ass water. Is there no Hulk this color?
I don't know.
It's crazy that a half an ounce of blue Curacao overpowered 3/4 ounce of pineapple juice. All right, let's try it. It's quite nice. It's got a very dominant pineapple flavor. I can't really tell what the Cognac is doing because even though Cognac has, you know, got like barrel notes in it, it's usually very, I mean, and in this case it is like very kind of light in flavor, and so it can be easily overpowered. Vodka is obviously just proofing it up, and then it has like a nice tartness, you know? I think I would go with a full half ounce of simple syrup. I think I did like a short half ounce. I think I need like a full half ounce. I might even actually downgrade the pineapple to half because it's just like very dominant, but it is it's a pleasing drink. It's nice, you know? I don't know, I feel like we could call this like the pool, but I guess we have to call it the Incredible Hulk, right? But how are we gonna name this cocktail? Turquoise Hulk? Bam, there we go. The Turquoise Hulk. Vacation Hulk? Like, do the other Hulks have names, or are they just
I think they're
Red
just
Hulk,
Red Hulk,
Blue Hulk,
yeah.
Yellow Hulk, Green Hulk,
No, green.
Turquoise Hulk?
Green Hulk is just Hulk.
Oh, so it's just Hulk, Red Hulk, Yellow Hulk, Silver Hulk, Gray Hulk, Turquoise Hulk. All right, I like it.
It gets greener the more I look at it.
This gets greener the more you look at it. It's a trick of the mind. I don't know. We basically like house-made hypnotic, dude. There it is. First club drink down, Turquoise Hulk. The next cocktail is a Washington Apple. Washington Apple was created in the 1980s. Nobody quite knows exactly who created it, but here is the story. And the story is a little suspect, okay? Apparently, at some point in history, we don't know when, a bug, we don't know what kind of bug, decimated the apple orchards of Washington. And as a result, there was a guy, his name was Christopher Guy Coogan, which sounds like a fake name. Christopher Guy Coogan, who was an entrepreneurial kind of lad, took the apples that were unusable and distilled them into an apple brandy, and then combined that with cranberry juice, and the Washington apple was born.
And he sold this as a product?
No one knows. I don't know. That's where my research led me, and that's where my research ended. So the thing is that I feel like this is just marketing bullshit. But that being said, why would there be a marketing team behind a cocktail? I decided to make this cocktail because it is one of the most popular cocktails in the nightclub that I worked in. Everybody wanted this drink. The original one is literally just apple pucker, which is a far cry from apple brandy, combined with Canadian rye whiskey and cranberry juice. Sorry, I forgot to mention that in the original one, the one that Christopher Guy Coogan, the fake guy that had the fake apple orchard that had fake bugs, that guy, he put Canadian rye whiskey in there. I urge all of the Canadians that watch this channel, however, you know, all 4 of you guys or whatever, and then also anybody that's got some Canadian rye whiskey around, even if you want to use Crown Royal, which is what's used in the nightclub, is Crown. I don't have Crown, and so I'm using Old Overholt, but if I had some Lot 40, that 100% rye, no, we have no Canadian rye, except we have Canadian Club, but we're not using Canadian Club, that's trash. First things first, we're gonna do, this is Granny Smith apple juice. It has oxidized. I did put a little bit of lemon juice in here to, you know, kind of preserve it longer. Ascorbic acid does a lot better of a job if you want to put ascorbic acid in it to keep it like bright green, but I'm coupling it with cranberry syrup, so I figured it's really not that big of a deal that it's kind of muddled, you know, plus it's whiskey's going in it, so it's not like you're gonna see the green color. So we're doing 1 ounce of Granny Smith apple juice. Okay, and then we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of cranberry syrup, and we're using 100% cranberry juice, 1-to-1 with sugar to make that syrup. All right, so cranberry syrup. Let's not forget 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. And then we're gonna go 2 ounces of rye whiskey. No, we're gonna do 1.5 ounces of our rye, or we can do 2 ounces. Let's do 2 ounces of rye. We're gonna serve this guy up. You know what we should do is, I mean, I don't want to do like a whole apple fan for a garnish, but maybe if we did just like a little, you know, let me go get an apple. We'll do a little apple slice for a garnish, right? Or should we do like apple slice sprinkled in sugar or something? Let's go get an apple. When making a garnish, you want to cut the cheek off the apple, and then you can just thin slices like so. And then if you wanted to make an apple fan, you could, like that. There you go, use your apple fan. We're not going to do an apple fan on this cocktail though. We'll just do one of these or something. Yummy. I mean, like literally just realized that I did almost the exact same format drink to drink. You can see now if you are struggling with creating your own cocktails, the format that I have been employed in the last 2 cocktails is pretty effective. Not a bad color. It's actually about right to what the Washington apple would look like. Told you that the apple slice had absolutely no effect on the outcome of the color. I mean, it did, but you know what I mean. Not a negative one. Tastes about right. You know, the rye whiskey really gives it this sort of savory, spicy, you still get that, like, it almost amplifies that sort of yeasty breadiness of rye whiskey. And then it's nice and tart. The apple is definitely coupled with that bit of lemon juice making it tart. And then you got a little bit of that cranberry syrup. Cranberry's coming through nicely as well, the cranberry flavor. And what's nice about cranberry juice itself is that, unlike ocean spray, which you shouldn't be using, 100% cranberry juice is frickin' bitter. And when you add sugar to it, you actually get this little bitter twinge to it. And so what's nice about that is that it's adding sugar, right? It's 1-to-1 simple syrup, but it's also adding an underlying bitterness to it that balances that sweetness out. So you have a more complex flavor profile in this cocktail. So we just give it an apple slice, and there it is, the Washington apple. And the last cocktail in our club series is the Tokyo Tea. Tokyo Tea was created in the 1970s. Nobody knows exactly when. It is an offshoot from the Long Island iced tea, and it is a very popular one as well. This one got asked for a lot too when I was behind the stick in the club. It's basically a Long Island iced tea with the addition of Midori. Today we went a little extra, you know, went a little extra step to make it better. And it's usually topped with Sprite as opposed to Coke, I guess, which would be in your Long Island iced tea to make it tea colored. So you guys kind of know how this goes. First thing we're gonna do is 1 ounce of lime juice.
Today we're not doing that, I guess.
Huh?
Topping it with Sprite.
No, I got like a yuzu, lemony, limey, kind of shishi effervescent soda. There you go, from Fever Tree. I figured, that would be nice. That would be nice, you know what I mean? So then we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of light blended rum. I picked the Probitas because it got some of that like Jamaican-y kind of flavor to it. And it also has like a very tropical feel to it. So you want light blended rum, 1/2 ounce. You want 1/2 ounce of vodka. Any vodka will do, whatever floats your boat. Do 1/2 ounce of tequila. We're using the El Velo. And 1/2 ounce of gin. Obviously we're gonna be using a citrus forward gin, so I am going with manly spirits here. And then 1/2 ounce of Midori or other melon liqueur, but I like the ectoplasmy green of it. And then we're sticking with the original, you know, because we're doing this in the spirit of the original as well, right? We do this in the Collins glass, pre-chilled. We are going to open our lemon lime soda, pour about an ounce and 1.5 ounces into the bottom of the glass. Then we shake our cocktail. Give it a strain. Ooh, yeah, I like this. Then add your ice in there. Hey, get in there. One for you. When I do this again, And when I post the specs below, we're adding half an ounce of simple syrup to it because it needs a little simple syrup to balance out. The Midori is not sweet enough to carry it, and obviously the yuzu soda also doesn't have enough sugar in it to really kind of balance that lime. So it's a bit lime forward. So we just add a little half an ounce of simple syrup in there. Otherwise, great drink. It's just not the most complex thing, you know? You get the Midori, you taste the yuzu a little bit. You know, it's green and nice and whatever. But what?
Oh, I say if you're gonna use Sprite or something instead, then it'll probably be.
Yeah, if you use Sprite, then you'll actually, honestly, if you use Sprite, then you'll actually add enough sugar. That's actually a lot more common than something like this. If you use something like this though, add a half an ounce of simple syrup. This right here is a little undersweet for me. I think I need a little half an ounce of simple syrup. It's just a little off balance. I figured that the Midori had enough sugar to balance it out, and then this would have enough sugar, but it really doesn't. It's got sugar, but just not a lot, so you should need to kind of balance it. But it's nice. It's nice. I do think though that we are going to have to go with a lime wheel on this one as well. I think what we'll do is just like that. So there it is, the Tokyo Tea.